Hey, Chef Judy G back in the kitchen today. I'm making roasted chicken. It's autumn now, the Jewish holidays are coming up. This recipe is foolproof. It's going to be great for turkey or turkey breast as well. The key when you're roasting chicken is you need to season the cavity. Keep it moist. Poultry seasoning is absolutely the best. And I'm a traditionalist. My mom used bells, so I'm going to use bells. I always roast my chicken upside down for 20 minutes first. Now I'm going to fill the cavity with a little bit of butter. And you want to get a little bit of that butter under the skin as well. That's going to make it really crispy. What I'm also going to do is I'm going to fill the cavity with some onion or leek or both, and look at this right in there. I'm also going to put in some apple, and what's going to happen is the apple keeps it moist and juicy and adds just a slight bit of flavor. You can also take your old lemon pieces and stuff that in. Don't go too heavy, but just enough. So what we're going to do is we're going to use garlic salt, a lot of that poultry seasoning, which is just going to be effervescent and just really yummy. Some paprika, Hungarian sweet paprika is what I prefer. And then what we're going to do is, again, we're going to dot with butter just around the skin. I'm also going to spray it with Pam. And the reason I'm going to spray it with Pam, it's going to help give it that golden rush. Now we're going to start it, like I said, upside down. Then what we're going to do is when we turn the chicken, we're going to tent it a little bit so the skin doesn't get too brown when it's not completely cooked. We're going to put this in a 350-degree oven, and like I said, 20 minutes, little bit chicken stock. Now what's going to happen is these onions, you can also put them in the bottom of the pan. It's going to deglaze, it's going to be gorgeous. Think out of the box. Half an hour before you're done, put in a little broccoli rabe. All that beautiful juices, it's going to drip on it. It's going to cook the rabe just enough and be delicious. I'll be back later today when this is all done so you can see how juicy it is. Now you can see the roasted chickens are out of the oven. We have the apple. This will just basically melt in as you're cutting things up. You have the onions that were inside the cavity that we roasted. Serve those along with this chicken. I'm going to let the chicken rest for a good 25 minutes, redistribute the juices. And remember that broccoli rabe I talked about? Well, I certainly did roast it in the pan, and then I pulled it out onto a baking sheet and with some sweet potatoes. Look at that, gorgeous. All I did was add a little olive oil and a touch of salt and pepper. That's ready to go. Let's talk about one of the most important things with the roasted chicken. Gravy. What I do is I have the pan drippings. I've removed 3/4 of the pan drippings. It's just basically too much grease, especially when we're talking 2 whole chickens. Nothing makes a better gravy than cooking it right in the pan. That's exactly what I'm doing. This pot simply has a roux. Don't be intimidated. A roux just means it's equal parts of butter and flour. And basically you melt the butter in a low temperature, you whisk in the flour, and continue to whisk and cook it for about 10 minutes because you want to cook out that flour taste. Do you ever notice when you go to a restaurant, sometimes they have a flour taste to their gravy? That's because they haven't cooked the roux enough, or God forbid they use cornstarch. My mom used to use cornstarch in her gravy, and I have to tell you, while it may have been shiny, it didn't give the richness and the depth of what we're looking for. So notice I'm starting to add more chicken stock. I have a little bit of the roasted onion that fell out of the cavity. That's just going to break in beautifully. Now another one of those grandma's secrets that if you haven't used before, Gravy Master is one of those gems you always want to keep in your cupboard. It's going to add a richness and a deep color, which is really nice. I even use Gravy Master in making Chinese pepper steak because the depth of it just adds a nice flavor. As you can see, the gravy is getting nice and thick. So my last piece that I add in the roast chicken gravy is just a hint of half and half. And that is going to just add this beautiful smooth and creaminess to it. When you have leftover gravy, be prepared that you're probably going to have to, after it sits overnight, it's going to get too thick. You're going to have to loosen it with about a half a cup to a cup of chicken stock. And if you're worried about the flavor not having enough intensity, go back to that Bell's poultry seasoning and a little sprinkle around will do it you have a perfect lump-free gravy and a roast chicken dinner. I hope you enjoy. From my kitchen to yours, I'll be back soon to teach you more.